Oh, Marty says no.
I
Oh,
think
I
it
just
is.
got
Joel
it
says
back up
yes.
and running.
Okay, good. All right.
Thank you.
Maybe Marty, since you've been kind of hosting these, maybe you could just keep your eye on that and make sure that we're still recording everything as we go on and stop us if we don't.
I'm watching up in the corner on it,
That
Joel.
that's
Oh, okay. All right.
that sounds great, Joel, because Terry just loves to hear me telling him what to do.
Now, I do, Marty. Now
I know
I
you do. Okay, Joel, back at you.
Okay. All right. You're here because whether you're in the jewelry business or any other high-end retail store, you have customers coming in every day to your store. The question is, what is their experience like? And how many times do you hear the ordinary retailer say, can I help you? And customers respond, no, I'm just looking. And then there's nothing that they can do. When you develop an approach that's unique and different, built on gratitude and being unique, it's amazing what can happen in your business. You can increase sales very quickly from 10 to 15, 25, 30, even 40%. As a matter of fact, that's exactly what happened with, I'm looking for Ivan
Ivan.
Levy.
Yep.
Ivan Levy, when he took his jewelry store business after having been 31 years as a jeweler, increased it in 1 year by over 40%. And how did he do that? It began with the word gratitude. Now, how does that apply to you as a retailer? That's what you're going to learn in this seminar. And what Ivan is going to share with you are some practical ideas based on his unique experience in the high-end jewelry sales, and also how it applies to no matter what you're selling, to engage your customer, to create an amazing experience for them, and it'll be showing up on your bottom line. The title of his presentation is,
Grateful to great.
okay, Grateful
Too great.
to be great.
Too great. Grateful too great.
Grateful to great.
Yep.
How to grow your retail business far beyond your imagination. Right now, please help me welcome. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So think about those 4 steps. What are you going to talk about? And why is that so important to them right now? And then at the end of that, you could increase your sales 10, 20, 30, 40%. As a matter of fact, that's what, and now we went into the bio portion. But we didn't learn what school he went to, his hobby. He loves the walleye fish. No one cares unless it's relevant to what they're going to get out of it. All right. How about any other questions, comments, thoughts?
I kind of have a question.
Sure.
So, trying that introduction, how you like talk about what's in it for them, there's a little bit of me that's kind of afraid because, like, there's always the what if, like, what if I don't accomplish that, or what if I don't do that, or what if somebody doesn't see that as the benefit? How do I not be scared? I just have to do it.
Well, one of the things that's critical, and this has been the foundation of my career and Jenny's career as a professional speaker, is audience feedback. Because I've asked each of our volunteers, what do your audience members say they do as a result of what you've said? So for 51 years, after every presentation, in the beginning, the audience got a little 3x5 card. It said feedback on the presentation. And there were, depending on how long I spoke, 3 to 6 questions. But the 3 questions always was, on a 1 low, 10 high scale, how valuable were the ideas for you? So they just circle a number from 1 to 10. Number 2, what was the best idea you heard? Just in a couple of words. And this is important for Terry to plan future meetings for you as members of the Illinois chapter. And number 3, what could have been done better? Is there anything Joel and Jenny could have done that would have made this 90-minute session even better for you? Okay, those three questions are the key. And it doesn't matter what you think people get. All that matters is what they think. And I can tell you over the years of doing this, when that second question, what was your best takeaway? It was amazing sometimes what people picked up on. I thought it was going to be A, but they put B, C, and D. So as a result of that, I enhanced what I was going to talk about next time on B, C, and D, because that's what they picked up on. Then the next time it was all about D. Well, D was the one that they were really tuning in. Well, let me expand D. I don't even talk about A anymore because nobody even put that on the card. So that's one way you can adjust your content. Now, what we're going to do today is give you, and Jenny, why don't you explain what we do? And even though we're not doing it right now.
Yes. Okay. Well, first I wanted to, because we just went off the tail end, and I'm going to pop that in a minute. We just went off the Ivans, and you were talking about selling. We're going to pop in, well, what a perfect segue to this link real quick that Joel had already told you was going to happen earlier. Always get that information to your listeners right away so that you don't have to wait until the end. So I'm going to first just pop this in. Two things on here. This is Joel's calendar link. And it says here the NSA special, $9.97. Your ticket to the dance. So you would, if you're wanting to do the group coaching and get the ultimate speaking system, and the coaching calls similar to this, but smaller group, it's interactive and it's for a year. So if you're wanting that, you click that calendar link and you schedule a call with Joel that's saying, yes, I want to do more coaching with you for the year. And at that special offer at $9.97. So that's that right there. Wanted to put that in there. Now, the next thing you just asked.
Well, let me stop you there since we're talking about that. And let me tell you what you're going to get. First of all, my coaching fee is $1,000 an hour. That's what I get. So a 30-minute call, we charge $600 for. The 1-year group coaching program is $2,400. That's what we charge on non-clients. And then the ultimate speaking system is $29.97. So that's $59.97, $5,997. You take off the $5,000 for NSA members or people a part of the chapter is $997, and it's guaranteed. You come to the first couple of months meetings and you don't think it's the best money you spent, you get a full refund. No questions asked. I mean, this is not a bunch of hype. And I've been around a long time in this group, and my reputation is pretty good. And I have a lot of Hall of Fame speakers that I've coached over the years with simple things like this. So what is this ultimate speaking system? First, it's a toolbox. It's this ultimate speaking system toolbox, which is digital as well as physical. And then there's over 200 videos I've made on introductions, slides, humor, openings, closings, how to get audience participation, 12 videos on audience participation techniques that have worked so well over the years with all of the visuals, the printed materials, everything is included. And it keeps growing. So it's a lifetime investment. Normally when you get an online program, you get it for a year and then you got to renew. We don't do that. Once you're in, everything I create in the future, you keep getting. So it's growing. So that's what the investment is. So if you click on that link, schedule a time with me for 30 minutes. First thing we're going to do, you're going to give me your credit card. We're going to charge you $9.97. Then we're going to work on your introduction for the rest of the time. And hopefully you'll come in with something already written that you could have sent me ahead of time, so I'd have even more time to think about how to make that an amazing introduction. Just that alone can be worth that much to you. If you get your audience into it before you say your first words, the rest of the presentation is so easy. So that's the value.
Oh, I was just going to mention, just like Veronica, she didn't have, quote, a formal one, right? But she was able to give you the information. Right. So even just having that will get you a transformed introduction. Go ahead. Sorry, Joel.
Okay, I'm done. That's the end of the commercial.
Okay,
Okay,
now,
Now tell them about the feedback.
yeah, okay. So that's that. Now we're going to transition to showing you. I'm going to pop in. This is a Google form, anonymous.
Oh, let's stop. Now in NSA, what's the one that we had used before? Talkadot?
Talkadot.
Okay, so we used to use Talkadot, but now Jenny's got a better one. And maybe just explain the
Well,
difference.
let me correct that. It's not that it's better. It's that this is very simplified. So this is just an example. Whether you use Talkadot, if you don't know what Talkadot is, don't worry about it. I'm going to pop in a link, and this is a Google form, anonymous, because as you know, when you ask for somebody to put their email or phone number or their email or their name, and they know you, like let's say Terry's asking you for feedback. Well, I love Terry. I don't want to hurt his feelings. So people are much more likely to give you honest feedback when they do not have to put their name. So it's always anonymous. And then it's very simple to fill out. You've probably seen some feedback forms. There's too many questions, it's too long, or they wait. They wait till the call is over and they'll email you later. Hey, could we get your feedback on today's call? It's too late. You got to get it during your call. So you can use this whether you're doing a virtual presentation or whether you're doing an in-person. So here's this audience feedback for today, literally. So you can do two things. Click that and see how you can set yours up by those questions. You can copy that exact form. And while you're there, go ahead and fill that out so that Terry, as Joel said, Terry can get that feedback on what you liked and how these calls could be even better for you. So we'll kind of be quiet for a moment and let you look at that and fill that out.
Where's the form?
Right here, audience feedback. Did that pop up for you?
Not yet.
Okay, let me try that.
It's coming in
Is
slow.
it the
I see it in the
sparkly
chat.
stars?
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't see it. Do I need to click on something different?
In the chat,
Chat. Oh. Show chat previews. Let's see what this does.
yeah, go over to the everyone in the chat. And it's the last entry in. Jenny's got it in there as a link.
Even better.
Underneath that, it's
Yeah, right under
audience
even better.
Under it. The one.
Okay, so you can see, for those of you who were able to open that, very simple Google form you can create, and it's anonymous, and then you just ask on a scale of 1 to 10. So I think it was Callie had asked, what if you promise or you put in your introduction that they're going to walk away with these results, and then you're kind of worried, am I able to deliver on that? But Callie, after you do one presentation, you use feedback and you see that the audience said, oh my gosh, I'm now going to do this. That's going to help you have even more confidence that that is what you are delivering. And as you'll find, when you ask for that scale of 1 to 10, maybe when you first start, your average score is, 8.01. And then you do it again and you make those tweaks of the audience suggestions, and then you move up to 8.7. And it's really exciting to see as a speaker that feedback number average number increase because you just keep asking, what is your audience getting out of it? And what did they say that could be improved? And the other great part about these feedback forms, how many times have you been speaking? You look out to your audience, whether it's virtual or in person, and they have a very serious, like maybe even confused expression on their face, and your mind is telling you, oh my gosh, this is not connecting. This is not going well. They are not getting any value out of this. And yet you get the feedback and they got so much value out of it. And it's, not every people are thinking when you're talking. And so it's amazing. It actually is really helpful and would be a big boost to your confidence when you read those, that you are a lot better than you even thought you were. So that's another reason why to use those feedback forms.
Okay.
Does that help, Callie?
Yeah, it does. Thank you. Yeah. To use
Well,
that.
speaking about feedback, without feedback, you're the only one that doesn't know how you did. The audience knows. But if you don't get feedback, you're the only one that doesn't know. And if you get down on yourself, like Jenny said, it could be a total misconception. If you're over impressed with yourself, but nobody else is, then you're delusionary. And the feedback really can help you. And I learned this in Toastmasters. Toastmasters is what got me to become a professional speaker. And now, 50 some odd years after my first Toastmaster meeting, Jenny and I, every Monday are in our Toastmasters club in Scottsdale, Arizona. It's a wonderful place to practice and keep getting even better as a speaker. And in Toastmasters, every speech is critiqued. So when I became a professional speaker in 1974 was when I got paid for my first speech. I used a feedback form the very first time. And I had those 3 questions, 1 to 10, how valuable it was, what was your best idea, and what could have been improved. And ever since then, I've had millions of people critique me. One thing that's a little different that you might want to consider, that's how I got paid. Since nobody knew who I was, and I was young in a brand new industry, because there were very few professional speakers in the early 70s, I said to a client, you only pay for results. Any feedback card from your attendees under a 7 is negative. You don't pay for negative results. So if there were 100 people in the room and I got 1 negative, I deduct 1/100th of the fee. If 90% of the cards were under a 7, I would deduct 90% of the fee. First of all, it kept me sharp. It kept me on the edge. And as a result, there were very few low ratings. The average for the last 25 years, 1 negative out of every 272 cards or feedback forms. So it was a great investment to guarantee results. Think about getting feedback, whether you put your fee on the line or you just use it to improve your confidence and knowing what is the audience picking up on that maybe you weren't aware of. Okay. How about any other questions, comments, or thoughts? We still got about another 15 minutes.
I have a question.
Sure. Go ahead, Stephanie.
Okay. Hi, my name is Stephanie, and that's cool. You guys are in Scottsdale. I'm in Phoenix, so I didn't know you guys are right here. That's fun. Jenny, I saw you speak years ago when I was in Chamber Chatters in Pleasanton, California. I think you were doing like virtual for, I don't know, a bunch of different speeches, getting ready for something. So anyways, saw it on LinkedIn and I joined this. So I'm glad to be here and thank you for all the information so far. My question is, I have a podcast and I have been on hiatus for a year and I'm going to start it back up again because it is so fun. But I was thinking about your intro and, making mine better or having it be more, growing the podcast, obviously. So do you have any feedback on what could be different for a podcast introduction or if there's anything I should take into consideration when writing or rewriting that?
Well, that's a great question, Stephanie. I think the same thing applies. So the first thing would be, what are they going to hear?
What do they get to hear?
Yeah, what is the podcast going to be about?
It's about interior design. It's called Your Favorite Interior Design Podcast.
Okay. All right.
I made it super, super simple.
Okay. All right. So everybody understands that. So the first part of an introduction is the subject. When you look at the space you're in right now, are you filled with joy and happiness? Does your environment enrich you or depress you? This is what great interior design can do. What if there was a way in just an hour a week, you could find out unique ways to be even more effective at creating a great space where you live and where other people live? That's what this podcast is about. Because when you do that, your life will be enriched. You'll have more energy. You'll be more receptive to creative ideas, and life will become just more joyful for you, all because of the space you surround yourself with. Each week, you're going to hear people share their ideas on how interior design and decorating can create that wonderful space. To lead you in this discussion is Stephanie, who, okay, now we don't know anything about you, but that might be the opening of it. As what would the ordinary person do? You know, for years, I've just loved decorating. As a matter of fact, as a little girl, I just always was redecorating my parents' home, and I just fell in love with decorating. And now I have a podcast where I share these wonderful ideas that I've learned, and I've met some people I want to share with you. And I think it's going to be a great conversation. You're going to learn a lot. No one cares.
Yeah.
I hope I'm driving that point home. When you think about what you're saying, just when you look at your introduction, just say to yourself, do they care?
I know.
Is this relevant to me?
Mhm.
That's why you need to identify your audience.
Right.
And I forget who my sales guy was that had the children's book as well.
Ivan.
But
Ivan.
oh, Ivan, yes, Ivan. Okay. So Ivan, there were two different audiences there. You need to be very specific on who your target audience is.
That's great advice.
And you can include
My-
everybody. Like this group, if you go back and listen to the recording, you might be a new speaker, or maybe you've been speaking for years.
Mhm.
Another thing maybe you should pay attention to if you go back and listen to this, talk in the singular. Not many of you, some of you, all of you. Now, some of you might be experienced and some of you might be new to the business. Talk singular. One person. That's who your audience is. And their name is you. And you can include everybody. You might have years of experience speaking, or maybe you're going to get ready to give your first speech. Wherever you are on that continuum of experience, having a great introduction can help you.
Mhm. Yeah, so we help busy professionals. So I do have, specifics. If you're a busy professional building a new home, we specialize in new construction, but I don't say that on the podcast. I make it more about the I'm not talking about my business, Stewart Design Co. I'm, talking about
But
interior design in general.
it could be in the introduction,
Okay.
because that's credible to the fact that you understand this from a business sense as well. That you're not just some hobbyist who thinks they have the most beautiful home and they love decorating. And, that's what part 3 is about. What
Right.
gives you the credibility?
hmm
We're going to talk, a dentist is talking about how to have a great smile. A dentist so-and-so has performed over 14,000 dental implants, creating great smiles for every one of his patients. Okay, well, the guy's done 14,000 whatever. I guess he must know what he's doing.
Right.
I'll listen. And that's what you need, something to establish credibility on the subject of your podcast.
Okay.
Nothing else. Not that
Yeah.
you're
So
a whole human being, a
Yeah.
great parent, a fun to be with.
And I have in there right now, it's like, from my experience in multifamily housing, hospitality, and luxury residential projects, we've seen, blah, blah, blah. I have that in there. So I don't know if that's the right format.
Yes, that's good.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, that would be excellent.
Okay. Perfect. Thank
Okay,
you.
there was sorry. Thank you, Stephanie, for unmuting and asking. We've got a couple more questions, and then also Scott, let me just read this one real quick because this was popped in at the chat box a little while ago. Scott asks, Mel Robbins, Simon Sinek, and Ben Nemtin, etc., aren't asking audience members for feedback. Is there a point where we could consider not asking for audience member feedback?
I guess I didn't understand the first
So
part.
he's saying big names like Mel Robbins and Simon Sinek, these big time speakers, they don't ask their audience for feedback using a feedback QR code or link. And he said, so is there a point as a speaker where we could consider, where we don't need to ask for audience member feedback?
No. Everybody should get feedback. If you owned a restaurant, do you think it would be a good time to stop asking people as the owner, so how was your dinner tonight? Oh, it was great. Well, what did you like best? Oh, I just love the salad. It was spectacular. If we could have improved one thing tonight, what would have made dinner even better for you? Well, the rolls were a little cold. I just happen to like warm rolls. Okay. If an owner heard that, he's been in business 35 years. Do you think he doesn't need to hear that the rolls are cold? So my answer to that, Simon Sinek, needs feedback. And the high level speakers that I coach and work with all get feedback. And it's the most valuable thing that they get, because you get people coming up to you and say, oh, that was so wonderful. I just loved every minute of it. And then you think you were wonderful, which I'm sure you were. But it's the ones that don't say anything that have the most valuable feedback for you.
You know, I'm thinking maybe if you just wanted to ask on a scale of 1 to 10, and that's the only question, and then you look at your average, because it's kind of like athletes. They're always looking at the record. You know, they have all their numbers. And if an athlete didn't look at their their batting average, it would be ridiculous. So as a speaker, maybe you just ask that one question on a scale of 1 to 10. And then can you increase your average each time you speak if you really want to be an even better speaker?
Yes. There's nobody beyond feedback. And then, of course, if you're going to do something about it, unless you just don't care. And I don't think that's the case. That's the one thing I've learned about NSA members is you realize you don't know everything. That's why you join this group and you want to keep improving. Well, what's your score? And if you look at every professional athlete, I just happened to heard Patrick Mahomes, the quarterback for Kansas City, one of the greatest quarterbacks ever, maybe not the greatest, but certainly one of the best. They gave all of his numbers for this year, and the numbers are down, and the team isn't winning, and they're not great anymore. They can identify it. Why do they do that in sports? Because numbers don't lie. So based on that, I don't think anybody is above feedback. And that's why you're getting it now and asking you to give feedback on what we're doing for you today. You don't care what we did last week. You want to know, what are we doing this Friday morning for the Illinois chaplain? That's what you want to know.
Okay, and yeah, and Connor, sorry about that. Connor and Marty both have their hand.
Right. Two quick points. Joel, you're the first human brain that I've seen that is actually faster, and even better than AI. I don't know how you do it. So sorry. Second point is the main takeaway for me, which I hadn't really appreciated before, is that in each of the introductions, you seem to be identifying an audience pain point and then stating how you will be able to address it. That's a real eye opener for me. So thanks for a wonderful presentation.
Oh, well, thank you very much. You have a wonderful voice, and sorry that I've been kidding you about being from Brooklyn.
I actually use, if you don't mind me saying so, I actually use an instant Irish accent mouth spray. And that's what gives me the brogue, Joel.
Okay.
Okay, and now Marty has her hand up.
Marty.
Okay. You are talking about introductions, and you mentioned that this applied to other types of conversations, maybe even our presentations. How much, when someone in the audience says, well, how did you get started? Or tell me about yourself, that becomes presentation mode. And so I've seen speakers give a lot of me, my childhood, all that kind of thing. If you do that, how much of it should be in your presentation? Should it be, a 10% versus 90? Because I've seen people give as much as 20 to 30% on their personal story, which is a lot of I, me, my. And again, this isn't introduction. This is presentation.
Well, let's just make believe you just asked me that question. Joel, this has all been great. How did you get started? Okay. Marty, that's a great question. Think about, as you're sitting listening to this, think about how did you get started doing anything? Well, come back in time. Just imagine you're sitting in a room in Tempe, Arizona. It's September 4th, 1969. And you've been invited to a meeting, and the speaker, and there's 27 people in the room, or 17 people in the room, and you're number 17. And you hear this speaker at the end of the meeting, everybody leaves, and the speaker is in there, and you watch as one of the members of the audience goes back inside. I was the speaker that day in Tempe, Arizona. I was 28 years old, giving my first presentation. And as you listen to the conversation, the man walks in and says, Joel, would you like some feedback on this meeting? What would you have said? Well, you just heard we talked about feedback, how important it is. Hopefully you would have said yes, Marty. And then you hear the man say, Joel, this is the worst meeting I have ever attended in my entire life. And you are the worst speaker I have ever heard. Now, if somebody said that to you, what would you have done? I started to cry. I was 28 years old, married, and I'm crying. And he, much bigger guy than me, puts his hand on my shoulder. He said, stop crying. You're not a baby. I'm going to fix you. So I wiped my tears away and I kind of said, well, how are you going to fix? You're going to come to a Toastmasters meeting with me Tuesday, and we're going to fix you. And that next day, I realized I better go to the meeting. And that following Tuesday, I went to the Tempe, Arizona Toastmasters Club, and I sat there and I realized, and it was September 9th, 1969, that I needed this. And I went to every meeting Tuesday at 6:30 in the morning on the Arizona State campus. 5 years later, I entered a speech contest, went to the world finals, placed in the top 3 in the world, and people started asking me to speak. And it launched my speaking career. You never know what somebody's experience is like until you go back to the beginning. So where were you in the beginning? What were you like? The idea that I could do this for 50 plus years was impossible that first day on September 4th until I had some coaching and experiences. And I could have accelerated that. It didn't have to take 5 years, but it was a big club and I didn't get much chance to speak. But I got better. And you can do the same thing, no matter where you are. But the key is getting feedback and knowing what your audience is experiencing. So, Marty, I hope that answers the question of, how this all began. You don't have to be great in the beginning. You just have to keep going and get great by studying and improving. And that's why we're offering you that ultimate speaking system. $997 is not going to change my life or Jenny's life at all. It's going to make no difference, but it's going to make a big difference in your life. If you really want to get accelerated and if these ideas resonated with you, the idea that it's a learned skill, that it's being yourself, and it's all about your audience. Those are the premises of everything. And if you use that, you're going to be so much better. So hopefully that answers that question. Well, I see we're getting very close to the ending. So let me just give you, how do you end a message? The worst thing you could say is thank you. If you say thank you to an audience, what you're saying is you gained something. The only time you will use those words thank you is when somebody has done something for you. If you go into a restaurant and somebody holds the door, you just say, well, thank you. What if the person opening the door says thank you? Well, why are they thanking me? They just opened the door for me. It doesn't make sense. So how do you end? With the word imagine. paint a picture of your listeners, your audience, doing what you said. So let me give you the ending to this message, and then we're going to turn it back to our host. So imagine you've gotten this concept of the 4 steps to an introduction. You've embraced it. You've rewritten your introduction. You get in front of your first audience. You've instructed the person introducing you how to read it. You mounted it on a black card. They deliver the introduction. And before you say your first words, you can feel within you that the audience is already moving in your direction. And they have a look on their face as if to say, I can't wait to hear what you're going to say. And that's exactly what can happen when you have an introduction that starts with the message, why it's important today, and why you're qualified to talk about it. And you've got a title that grabs their attention. And when you do that, you're going to have much better presentations. Now go out, create a great presentation, and make it a wonderful day. Terry?
Well, Joel, I'm going to break the rules and I'm going to say thank you.
Okay,
and
now
Jenny.
I was hoping that's appropriate.
Yes.
So then what do you say? You're welcome. And it's been a joy being with your team here in the Illinois chapter.
Yeah.
Thank you, Terry, for being such
you
a
are
good
welcome.
host.
And I am glad that we sped up the opportunity for you and Jenny to be here, because literally you gave us beyond what you had promised. Not only saving us, but beyond what you had promised. Folks, that is a steal. Get in there, get that link. I'm not shilling for them. I'm just saying what we've gotten here today was an amazing amount of information. Go back and watch this recording, and I second Connor's opinion. You amaze me. I know, I see why you're a Hall of Fame speaker. Man, you think on your feet like that. But
Well,
I do want to thank you for coming out and helping us out. I have a couple slides left that I think I have to share, and I will get to it. But one more round of applause, Joel and Jenny. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. And make it a wonderful end of the year. And it's great that you're going to have a follow-up next Thursday.
Next Thursday at 5 o'clock. Marty is going to be facilitating that. I know I'm going to be there. I want to see each and every. I've got your names down, but you should be, because you know what? That's extra reinforcement of this. And I know for myself, I was sitting here thinking of all the times I say I and not realizing that it should be you. That is just a great piece of advice. And it's going to make me even better.
Hey, great job, Terry. All right.
Thank you guys for coming in and just filling us with so much information. I really appreciate it.
Nice seeing you, Terry. Okay, bye-bye.
Great seeing you. You guys enjoy the sunny weather.
Okay.
And as promised, I will finish up here. Just let me get back to my technical end of things. Here we go. I'll go to the next slide. Boy, my computer's going slow. I apologize, guys. There we are. I know you did an anonymous, but we also have the Talk-a-Dot QR code. I'm going to give you a couple seconds on that. If you can't scan it in right, go to the URL there, talk.ac/NSA-IL. Use the prompt USAG. Fill that out for us. We do have a little incentive giveaway for you there, and it's actually 7 things for speakers that Joel wrote himself to like the little tidbits he was throwing in there. We have some more on there. So do us a favor. Go for that. We've got a couple seconds more. I'm going to let you in on that because I'm seeing some people doing some stuff there. Take your time on that. Again, we appreciate the feedback, and I am going to From there, because I figured if anyone scanned it, you've scanned it by now. If you're going to do it, you're going to do it. I keep trying to move it the camera there. Uh, we've got a few minutes, and I would like to see if anyone would like to pop their collar. We all know what that is, don't we? That's when I allow everyone to brag about themselves. If anyone wants to pop their collar, I would like to hear it. I'm going to take the stop sharing down so it can bring you right up. Uh, Anyone? I'm going to check here. I'm going to pester you for a few minutes more on that. I'm looking for anyone. Either shout out or raise your hand. Gary, did you want to pop your collar?
Yeah, not so much collar popping, but kind of a lesson, recent accomplishment, I guess, that I learned. I am about to finish my first 8-week session of improv training
Ooh,
that I'm doing at the IO Theater here in Chicago, and level one. And I spoke to a small group last week in New York, industry association. It wasn't a paid gig, but it was a small group, good visibility for my target audience. And it was the first time I felt the improv training kind of kick in terms of being more outgoing, listening better, uh, those sorts of things. So if anybody's ever thought about that sort of thing before, I would highly recommend it. It just adds an extra layer. At least it does for me. I tend to be on the introvert side, so it's helped, and this was really the first time I felt it make a difference. So
yeah, Gary, I did IO ages ago, and I have used it ever since. It's been very vital in my work now, the one man shows I do and the presentations I do, because it is that skill of listening. So,
yeah, and
excellent.
it's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. Excellent. I've got a couple
Uh,
other hands up there, so let's move
just
on
gonna
down the
say,
line here. Look whose hands
Gary.
up. It's yes. Oh, Rosie, you had something to say?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask Gary if he could put the contact information for the improv place that he took in the chat. That would be
Sure,
fantastic.
absolutely.
Oh, look at that. See, always thinking. From our incoming president to our current president, who has his hand up, Christopher Carter.
Hey, Terry, I'm not going to pop my collar so much as pop a few other people's collars. You put all of this together absolute last minute, but not just you. You had an amazing team, and I just want
Yes.
to express some gratitude for Jenny and Marty and Adam and all of the folks in marketing who got this stuff out in, I mean, just
A
absolute
weekend.
no time in a weekend. In my last president's letter, I talked about having a deep bench, and this is what's so useful and so wonderful about our group. We have a deep bench of talent. The other little bit of collar popping I want to do is on behalf of CJ Powers, because if you all were at the uh, accelerator last
Accelerator.
month, yeah, CJ was like the star of the show, sharing some deep information about publishing, and that was in line with Robbie Samuel's program. It's the fact that we are an amazing team who can learn from one another is what makes this so exciting. So I'm just kind of giving them the props they are due, because they have really enhanced our experience across the board.
Excellent. Excellent. Veronica, you're next up here.
Yes, I really just, first off, this was an amazing session. I'm so happy that Rosie invited me to be a guest because I want to be a part of this organization. So I look
Woo!
forward to joining next year. But also, I love that Joel was able to offer me such great advice on an intro because I actually do have a public speaking engagement tomorrow morning. So it was like perfect timing, and I really look forward to implementing what I learned today and offering like an incredible intro at least. So, yeah, thank you ultimately for
Excellent.
this.
You're gonna knock them dead tomorrow, Veronica. That's
Thank you.
I'm an actor, so I don't say break a leg. I don't say good luck. I say break a leg or knock them dead. So you're gonna knock them dead tomorrow.
Thank you.
Karen.
Scott.
Karen,
Yeah,
was
just
Karen
wanted
here?
to share. I had 16 leaders graduating from my leadership program, and
Oh,
just it was really engaging. It was fun, and looking forward to offering a public leadership program next year based on the feedback.
excellent. Excellent. And oh, Karen is a recent graduate of Speakers Academy. Are you not, Karen?
Yes.
Yes. And she has gone on to make wonderful strides. Are you getting into the last story standing? Last we were talking, you were thinking about it.
I'm still thinking about it.
Well, I'm hoping to see you there because I saw you
Thank you.
part of your presentation at the graduation from Speakers Academy, and I think you could do a great job at it. So, but
Thank you.
hats off, hats off. Marty, your hand is up.
Have you ever seen Scott Telema talk about crisis negotiation? I had this was a pop the color for a fellow member. He was
Uh-huh.
a keynote at a conference that I spoke at last weekend, and it was marvelous how he translated his experience as being a crisis negotiator, maybe someone even threatening his life with a gun behind the door, and translated that to customer service or things at the corporate. So I just wanted to say that I had never seen him in action, and it was just a joy to see an NSA Illinois member connect with an audience the way that he did. Special clapping for that
Thanks,
one.
Marty. Appreciate that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Excellent,
And
excellent.
then
Thank you.
just to
Thank you.
close this off, I have a request to our administration, our board. Have you ever looked at our chat and wanted to download it?
Oh, yeah.
If that's been missing for a long time. I don't know if there's a reason why we don't do that. Sometimes you just want the nuggets that are in the chat. So if we can switch the setting to there's an arrow, download this content, then we can all get it immediately. So that's just a suggestion.
All right. You're
Well, you
you're
can
talking
actually
sense to
do
me.
the chat
Am I
from
missing it?
from this webinar.
From this webinar, we can,
So if you click on the three dots, if you open the
Okay.
chat, click on the three dots, save
Yep.
chat, and save it to a folder.
okay, so are the three dots? Okay, so I
Yeah,
must have
right
missed
at the
it. Are they up
top.
above?
Right at the top with the
Uh,
title.
at the top, there's three dots, and I see
Yep. You hit those
read
three
meeting
dots.
notes. I don't see anything. Anyway, I'll take it offline, but used to be at the
Yeah.
bottom. The three dots used to be at the bottom, and you could download. I don't see it at the top. I have everyone, and then I have private chats going on, and I have the three dots up at the top, and there's no mechanism for me to download. So it could be a Mac thing.
Yeah.
I think Chris is saying something.
Sorry, I muted myself instead of unmuting myself. Do you see when your chat is open at the very top in darker text, December or DES educational program? Do you see that text?
Oh, got it.
Do you see those
Okay.
three dots right next to
So
it?
that's it. Okay, so user error, and I love this group because everyone showed me how to do this. The Zoom changed where they put the three dots.
Hey,
Probably
Marty.
changed it a year ago, and I just missed it a year ago.
I wouldn't have known that if Karen didn't tell me just now with you.
That's just awesome. Thank you, everyone, for
Yeah.
sharing
Oh,
that.
look at that. We
I'm
are
so
all.
excited. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to save this chat.
I just did as we were doing that.
Because I'm facilitating the event on Thursday.
On Thursday.
I make sure I have everything right away.
Yep. Oh, I'll get you offline. I've got some stuff for you for that as well. Well, pop the collar. I am glad we are continuing pop the collar while we are virtual. And so those who pop their collars, I was taking notes. I'm going to see if I can do it right 2 months in a row. I'm going to send you out a little Starbucks card. You don't have to get coffee there if you don't like Starbucks. You can actually get some tea. I think they have there. They may have some juices. I know they have pastries, but you don't have to use it on coffee if you don't want coffee. So I appreciate it, and it's an encouragement to continue to get these members participating because the more we participate, the more fun we have and the more education we get. Look, Marty and myself just learned we can save the chat courtesy of Karen. See, it's a win-win-win all the way around. And I believe that takes me to the end of my slides. I know you're disappointed, but before we go, I do want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, a joyful Diwali, a Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Holidays. If I haven't covered a specific religious celebration you do at the end of the year, there are, I believe, some 40 some different religious celebrations between December and January. So if I haven't covered one of yours, it's simply because I didn't do enough hunting for different ways to say celebrate at the end of the year. But this one, I know we all celebrate no matter what religion we are, and that is Happy New Year. So I want to wish you an early Happy New Year, and I want to see you all safely back here. Oh, yes, Scott, Festivus. I will be airing grievances as soon as they cut me off. But a Happy New Year to everyone, and I want to see everyone again next year. I also want to get everyone to make sure they consider doing Last Story Standing. If you're not going to do Last Story Standing, make sure you come to be in the audience. That will be just as important as being on that stage, being in that audience, and bring a lot of friends along with as well. Get involved. We've got a lot of programs coming up. We need people to help us. We're going to need volunteers to help out with Last Story Standing and along with Sizzle Reel. We'll dig deeper into that come January, but we're going to let you get through the holidays first. So I think I've about covered it all. And I just want to thank you all for being here. You were great participants. And I want to thank personally, like Chris had said before, everyone who literally dropped everything and jumped on board to get this program together when everything came off the wheels at 6:30 in the morning, I believe on a Friday, if I'm not mistaken. It is ingrained into my head. And Jenny and Marty and Adam were right on top of things right away with me, as well as Chris, all asking to pitch in. And I literally can't thank you guys enough. And want to wish you all Happy New Year. We'll see you in 2026. Woohoo!
Happy New Year.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you.